Good morning. My name is Paul Kinna. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at Sigma Wireless. Firstly, just want to thank everybody for attending this morning. We really do appreciate your attendance. We're looking forward to presenting. We think the subject in private wireless networks is very timely. We're seeing real traction and movement in this area across all the verticals. So I think it's a very interesting time in our industry. We have a good panel this morning. I'd like to introduce them. Firstly, with Sean McGinley. Sean is going to talk to us about private networks, really what a private network is, and the reasons why, the benefits to the operations, and the reasons why people are moving from the traditional platforms over to the private network. We have Steve Evans from Nokia Solutions. We're delighted Steve could join us this morning. Steve is going to bring us through some of the history in Nokia, obviously a global leader in the sector, their solution and their experience, and talk to us about some of their reference bases. We also have Peter Clemons, who is an expert consultant in the area. So Peter's going to talk to us about his experience, his views and his vision about where private networks are going in terms of trends, standards, spectrum allocation, etc. Hopefully toward the end of the presentation, we're going to have sufficient time. The plan is to have about 15 minutes for a Q&A session. We'd really love that to be interactive. We'd love the engagement and to answer any questions you may have. So just a very brief background on Sigma Wireless. We were established in 1991 as a result of a management buyout of the Motorola business. So we're really proud to be celebrating 30 years in business this year. We're an independent systems integrator. We pride ourselves on providing critical communications solutions to our customers in the public safety sector, private enterprise, manufacturing, transportation, and utility. We work with some of the global leaders, partners like Motorola, like Nokia, Roden Schwartz, Jotron. We're a founder and shareholder and key MSA provider of the Tetra Ireland network. Tetra Ireland network today is providing critical communications for over 25,000 users. So, it's one of those key networks for public safety in Ireland, and we're really proud to be part of the operation and the maintenance of that network. I think the context of Tetra Ireland just demonstrates that Sigma has always been a part of the evolution of technologies from the legacy platforms up to the emerging platforms. And we have been at the heart of that process all along. I think that's a really important point to make. So I think it's worthwhile just for a minute, just looking back at the technologies and how technology has evolved, because it's not that long ago since we had wide area analog radio networks, which at the time served the function for our emergency services, for our utilities. We built a national network for the utility company here in Ireland that was used for many, many years, and at the time it was groundbreaking. And it's not that long ago. We extended that into many sites, be it manufacturing sites or transportation. Example like Dublin Airport, where we had a trunked radio system in Dublin Airport, and that proved to be hugely beneficial to the operations in the airport. We had technologies like the National Paging System, Pageboy. Again, a heavily subscribed system at the time, but limited in a sense that it was one-way paging, and again, that was extended into the hospital environment, where it was a critical system for consultants and cardiac teams. And then we had the emergence of DECT and superphones. We had, of course, integrated control rooms for some of the emergency services at the time that integrated with some of the subsystems, the analog radio systems, or some of the mobilization systems. And then the game changers came along. And the game changers coming along, the internet, the WWW, the cellular experience, the establishment of mobile operator networks, wireless LAN, Wi-Fi, IP protocol. And as these technologies emerged, they really started to demonstrate that, there was a different demand in the marketplace. And you could see that the convergence was going to start, and it led into the next generation of technology. So the technologies did emerge, as we spoke earlier on about Tetra. Tetra replaced the conventional analog networks that were used by the emergency services. That's because the demands of the emergency services were far greater. They needed a national secure network, and Tetra offered that as the emerging technology. We saw the same pattern emerge from conventional radio and private enterprise to the DMR platform that's still deployed today in many, many sites. It allows for IP connection, so we have many DMR networks that are actually connected across many sites in many countries. They have application partners now that provide multiple services like lone worker, man down, telemetry function, messaging function, dispatch functions. So the radio platform is now intelligent. We can see at the control room environment where we have all of this IP integration now with all these subsystems, with CCTV, with body-worn camera streaming, with CAD systems, intelligence systems, etc. So again, even that control room environment has evolved. And huge emphasis now on data, connectivity and mobile data. People want data on demand because they're so used to having access to data via the smart devices now. We look at what's going on in the cellular world with smart devices, 2G, 3G, the move to 4G. Everybody's got a smart device. We're doing our banking, we're doing our mail, we have web access. We do everything with our smart device now. We have messaging, social media, apps for pretty much everything. So the expectation now of people is that they have voice and they have data, importantly, on demand. The same is said in our business premises or at home. If we step back in time, at one point we were happy to have 2 meg coming into our house. Then it was 10 meg, then it was 20. Now we have MBI rolling out a national broadband system, and they're talking about gigabit connectivity. So the demands are far greater in terms of data and voice services, secure data and voice services. And that leads us into why private networks nicely. So at this point, I'm just going to hand over to Sean McGinley to take us through private networks and explain what they are and why we should consider deploying them. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sean McGinley. I'm the Operations Director of Sigma Wireless Communications Limited. So what is a private wireless network? Well, we at Sigma Wireless state that a private wireless network is a dedicated wireless network. It uses licensed spectrum and operates to the 3GPP defined LTE and 5G NR standard. Private wireless networks are inherently secure, offer mission-critical voice, both individual and group push-to-talk, push-to-video, and data communication services. These private wireless networks will help deliver the fourth industry data-driven IoT applications, as well as offering superior voice quality and other advanced features such as real-time mobile video surveillance, augmented reality, virtual reality, wirelessly connected robotics, and automation for industry. These next generation networks are more reliable, they're secure, they support mobility, and they offer high levels of coverage and a high level of performance. So why do we need a private wireless network? Well, these private wireless networks are standards based on the international standard 3GPP, which my colleague Mr. Peter Clemons will talk about in more detail later. So if we talk about 5G technology, it offers many advantages such as increased mobile broadband bandwidth with data rates up to 10 gigabits per second, extremely low latency of around 1 millisecond. These networks are secure, your information is not stored on a public network, your information will be stored on your own IT infrastructure or in a private cloud, There are many options available, but importantly, your data will not be on a public network. They offer mission-critical voice and data services with push-to-talk and push-to-video through a standard smartphone or a smart tablet device, or a mission-critical smartphone incorporating a dedicated push-to-talk or push-to-video button. This technology enables massive data for IoT applications and can support up to 1 million connected devices per square kilometre. Many IoT devices are available with a battery life of 10 years. These networks offer high availability, 5 nines typically, 99.999% availability. You have full coverage. Compared to Wi-Fi, there is less infrastructure required. In a recent example, in an open pit mine, 150 Wi-Fi access points were replaced with 10 micro small cells. This technology fuels the Industry 4.0 evolution by offering low latency, increased bandwidth, throughput and security. Industrial automation is enabled with this technology, enabling artificial intelligence, virtual reality to smart city applications. These private wireless networks future-proof your network with a global technology evolution. They are large ecosystem devices and applications. All major manufacturers are producing devices and systems to take advantage of this technology. Your systems will be replaced, but not the functionality that you need. Importantly, these systems will only enhance the services and functionality available today. It gives advanced future-proof technology options without multiple systems, so a single underpinning technology offering many use cases. Technology convergence. Many users carry more than one device and use multiple technologies in their day-to-day work activities. With these new technologies, many of these solutions are merged into one device. As can be seen from this slide, traditional communication technologies are now merged into one smart mobile device, be it a smartphone or a tablet. In the health environment, such as hospitals for example, users might carry a desk phone and a pager, but with this convergence of multiple functionalities into one device, current plus enhanced form of communications are now available. There's no need to carry multiple devices. Legacy systems functionality are now available in one device. You can still maintain your individual secure communications and group communications. Priority calling is available to critical users. You maintain your digital voice communications with one-to-one and one-to-many group calling. There's no need for fixed lines as all voice communications can now be mobile, each user having only one device and an individual contact number. Devices. So what devices are available today? As can be seen from this slide, there's a wide range of device types. Smartphones, dual SIM smartphones allowing a user to roam from their mobile network and then securely into their private network at their workplace. Bring your own device. Users can use their own device in accordance with their company IT policy. Tablets, laptops, smartphones in the form factor of a traditional two-way radio are all available today. There's a large and ever-growing ecosystem of devices available today and more becoming widely available all the time. In the top right of the picture, you will see a mission-critical smartphone, the Motorola Lex L11. This device is specifically made for the mission-critical user. 4G and 5G SIM-based devices are available today and include routers, modems and IoT devices. I'd now like to introduce you to Lee Hardigan, Nokia Head of Enterprise UK and Ireland. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean, for the opportunity to join Sigma Wireless and your customers today. I'm Lee Hardigan, I head up Enterprise and Public Sector for the UK and Ireland region, and I'm joined today by Steve Evans, CTO. I just want to start actually by looking backwards. I'm guessing that even the millennials amongst the audience will know Nokia best for its mobile devices. Just 10 years ago or so, Nokia dominated the mobile device landscape before I guess we disappeared pretty quickly, almost as quick as Apple and the others grew. What might surprise you though is that we never actually went away from the enterprise space, and I'm really confident of our future too, because if you look back in our history, you'll find that innovation is ingrained within the Nokia psyche. Going back 150 years or so to the company creation, and you'll find a small business in Finland making paper. We then expanded into diverse segments such as rubber boots all the way through to power generation. Of course, it was the 1980s, the 1990s that really put Nokia on the map as mobile technology was created and driven hard out of the Nordic countries. And I guess the rest, they say, is history. So back to the present day, and it's this culture of innovation and openness to market trends which continues, as our recent partnerships with the big web scalers demonstrate. Our ability to partner is key for our success in the market and is something that is endorsed from our CEO downwards. I think if you needed any further innovation evidence, just take a look at these stats. So Nokia is the only company I know of that can lay claim to Grammys, to Emmys, even an Oscar, alongside, of course, the numerous Alan Turing and Alfred Nobel prizes. So this is important because I think it demonstrates that Nokia is a true technology company. You know, we conceive, we design, we manufacture and implement all of our technology, from servers, routers, switches, radios, antennas, and of course all of the software that enables and joins those components together to make a network. And it's this approach that has given Nokia the leadership position in private cellular wireless, and why the partnership we have today with Sigma is so exciting. Because I know in Sigma we have a partner that has actually been on the same page as Nokia for decades, with the vision and doggedness to focus purely on wireless technologies. So Nokia have now deployed over 300 private wireless solutions, and that figure is growing by the week, and it's something I'm sure we'll add to through the partnership with Sigma. Finally, I just wanted to share some successes that Nokia already has in the Republic of Ireland. We've had a presence here for over 30 years, and as well as this, some of the enterprise and carrier customers that we serve, of course, we're also a key partner in the critical national infrastructure rollout, delivering fibre to rural broadband and enabling this, incredibly entrepreneurial country to keep building businesses from wherever you may be. On a personal note, I've worked with many successful partners in Ireland, so I look forward to celebrating further success with Sigma and Nokia. And with that, I'll hand over to Steve. Happy to take any questions at the end. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee, and welcome everybody. My name is Steve Evans, and I am the Enterprise UK and Ireland CTO, which means I am the technical one. I'm going to talk to you briefly about private networks and how Nokia technology with Sigma service and deployment know-how will enable you all to take advantage of its benefits today. So why are we seeing the growth of 4G and 5G private wireless networks? And particularly the birth of Industry 4.0. Well, Paul Krugman, a famous economist, he said productivity isn't everything, but in the long run, it's almost everything. And what that means is, and it particularly refers to heavy industries, which we'll talk about in a minute. It means how can we get more out of the assets we already have? Now that's an obvious statement to make. But with the capturing of workplace data, particularly in the heavy industries, we can make efficiencies or efficiency gains much more substantially than we've ever managed to make before. Secure private wireless networks enable better data collection and better workplace flexibility. In short, it enables companies to deliver more with what they already have. So, why does data collection actually matter? Well, it matters because all data you can collect, you can act upon. Data from the workplace educates and informs, enabling better decision making and improving productivity. Over 70% of usable actionable data is not collected today. That's a huge amount of information that businesses could be using to improve operational efficiencies. Private wireless networks helps address that. So why is data collection so low? The simple answer is that it's too hard to capture. We have the data, and many companies also have intelligent algorithms to make sense of the data. Indeed, Nokia and Sigma have the artificial intelligence tools ready to use. But what most companies don't have is a way to capture the data and then feed an action based upon the analysis of that data. This is where private wireless steps in. It lowers the cost point to a level where the benefits derived from data capture, namely productivity, outweigh the cost of install. And this slide indicates why we're moving down this path. It's simple, but it conveys a powerful financial message. Physical industries account for 70% of GDP, yet they account for only 30% of the ICT investment. A modest increase in ICT investment in physical industries would make a significant impact in GDP. So it is apparent that physical industries have a huge untapped potential. They just need to digitalize for them to realize it. So, what if you could get rid of the wires in your premise, factory or store? Have a secure, reliable wireless network. Keep all of your data on your customer's premises. And have your customer manage it all from the comfort of their own laptop. Well, this is made possible with Sigma and Nokia private wireless solutions. The solutions are all based upon 4G and 5G technology, delivering guaranteed bit rates with low latency and industrial grade security. No other technology can simultaneously deliver against high speed, low latency, high predictability, industrial security and mobility simultaneously. 4G and 5G private wireless networks is your one-stop shop for all wireless communication needs, whether they be mission-critical, machine-to-machine, push-to-talk, low-level IoT, or just basic data access from CCTV, tablets, and other handheld devices. Let me take you quickly through 3 use cases where private wireless networks have made a difference. The first is Bosch Rexroth. We worked with Bosch Rexroth to create an Industry 4.0 factory floor. All component delivery trucks, robots, and pretty much any device requiring data input were converted to 5G. Covering 10,000 square meters, we installed only 8 small cells to deliver all of the communication requirements. These were very low latency connectivity, mission critical uptime, mobility, and industrial security. The second example is the Port of Southampton. We are seeing ports as a large growth market for this technology because it is being proven again and again to increase productivity and safety. For Southampton, the requirement was to consolidate all of their current Wi-Fi networks. We had to show an improved reliability. There was many complaints from the users where their signal tended to drop out. So we had to make sure that the signals were consistent and reliable, and there was uptime that was better than 5 nines. We also had to deliver low latency bit rates. For example, the port machinery, especially the automated port machinery, rely on protocols like Profinet and ProfiSafe. These are protocols, Ethernet-based protocols, but they have a strict latency requirement, and they were finding that the Wi-Fi access points weren't able to deliver against that strict latency requirement. Thankfully now with the 5G technology, the technology is delivering the low latency that's required. What we found was the Nokia Digital Automation Cloud, with the ease of management and the 5G standalone technology, is helping Southampton deliver on all fronts in terms of their requirements for a wireless network. The final case is about Lufthansa Technik. Lufthansa essentially maintains plane engines from airlines worldwide. Before 5G was installed across their site, the norm was to fly in experts from each airline to have their engines inspected and for any remedies to be done. This was a very costly and timely exercise for both Lufthansa and the airline. By introducing a 5G private wireless network, Lufthansa was able to stream in 4K and in real time. You can see the lady in the picture here performing the inspection on the slide. She is conveying the inspection to the airline experts who can make decisions without having to travel. Just by coincidence, we installed this network by chance. We installed it before COVID struck, and essentially the video link that was created and the video capability that was created essentially saved this company, because remote diagnostics could be done without the burdensome overhead of cost of travel and the inspection regime that previously went on. So, what do you need to get started? The 4 building blocks are spectrum, 4G or 5G spectrum, 4 or 5G access points. You need a core to control the access points and the data from those access points and to those access points, and arguably the most important, an easy end-to-end management capability to make the implementation and the ongoing day-to-day running of the network simple. With Sigma, you can be assured that all building blocks are covered. Spectrum acquisition, end devices with SIM cards, on-site installed and maintenance, along with Nokia's world-leading radio technology, core technology, and, in an industry first, a simple and easy management interface to enable you to do it all yourselves. It is all designed to take the strain out of cellular networking for your customers. So, why do we promote 4G and 5G technology? Well, first of all, it can do everything that Wi-Fi can, except do it better. It can go further, with more predictability and more users. But it goes further. And that's because one reason that Industry 4.0 is only just getting going is because it needs many attributes that, until now, only a fixed line could give. 4G and 5G delivers on the reliability, the security, and the high capacity requirements that's required in Industrial 4.0 environments. In fact, what we want to achieve is the end device working exactly the same, whether it was on a fixed cable or whether it was on a 4G or 5G connection. It shouldn't make a difference. The killer attribute, however, is all of the above being supported whilst being mobile. The ability to move between access points seamlessly whilst still supporting all of the very tight latency, speed and guaranteed throughput attributes is what sets 4G and 5G and private wireless in general apart. So finally, this is kind of the product pitch, and I must stress you don't need to read this slide in detail. All you need to understand, and the key takeaways are that the whole mobile core, so all of the equipment, will be contained on your customer premises. So the data is secure and never leaves your customer's network. That's really, really important to get across. Through Sigma, there is an availability of a vast array of end devices and radio access points to choose from the very small access points with a single Ethernet link to the local core on a small HP server, through to a full-scale macro access point network as used by operators today on the latest disaggregated server hardware architecture. The scale of your customer requirement does not matter. It's the ease of management for your customer remaining the same, and ultimately that is what counts in the enterprise market. From a management perspective, your customer can view and manage their networks via a simple web-based portal. This is the blue cloud shown on the diagram. Each customer will have one of its own blue clouds to manage as many discrete sites as they wish. Each site can either have its own mobile core, or it can have a centralized core. It all depends on the size of your customer and what they want to achieve. Either way, Sigma and Nokia have got it covered. And that concludes my presentation for today. Many thanks for listening. I do hope you found it useful, and I look forward to taking any questions. But for now, let me hand you back to Sigma. Many thanks.
It's truly a pleasure to be taking part in today's event, supporting companies of the caliber of Sigma Wireless and its partner Nokia. I've been involved in the global critical communications industry for 25 years, overseeing the move from analog to digital, from plain voice to data and multimedia, from closed to more open systems. And now we're on the cusp of perhaps the most comprehensive overhaul of mission critical and business critical communications ever, with the rise of private wireless networks. I wrote my first Tetra report back in 1996, before there were actually any live Tetra networks. Tetra MOU Association, now TCCA, was set up in late 1994 to promote the recently approved ETSI Tetra standard, which quickly became the undisputed narrowband standard for European and global critical communications. The vast majority of nationwide public safety networks, such as Tetra Ireland, as well as literally thousands of networks for utilities, transport, natural resources, major industries and enterprises, have been depending on Tetra, together with its younger sister ETSI standard DMR, for their mission-critical voice communications. Back in the early 2010s, while I was TCCA director and board member, we started looking to the future, engaging with 3GPP, the organization in charge of global mobile standards, to help develop the next generation of critical broadband technology. In 2012, I founded my own company, Quixoticity, a proud member of ETSI and 3GPP. Now, here in 2021, a decade on, we've come a long way, and as you've already heard, now have mature mission-critical broadband solutions based on 4G LTE and early 5G releases, deployed by some of the world's most demanding industry sectors and customers. The world is changing faster than ever. I believe we'll see more change over the next 5 years than during the previous 25. The world in 2030 looks very different to the world today. LTE has been the most successful mobile technology ever, with 6 billion subscriptions globally at end 2020, according to GSA figures. 5G is most definitely the future of mobile and mission-critical communications. Global 5G subscriptions remain in the hundreds of millions through 2021, with the vast majority of 5G devices still connected to 4G core networks. So there's a long way to go before it eclipses LTE. In the past, mobile operators have focused on consumers, building best effort networks. Wi-Fi is also a best effort solution. However, significant resources from significant global players are now being invested in the current and future generations of 3GPP-based technologies to adapt them to the needs of societies and economies undergoing profound digital transformation. Next generation mission-critical voice, data, video, and immersive media services need to be transported seamlessly, securely, with as little delay as possible, end-to-end over more intelligent, open, integrated networks, with the most critical time-sensitive data processed and stored at the edge itself. As 3GPP opens up to the so-called verticals, represented by many of our audience and customers today, Other important movements, associations and actors, such as the ORAN Alliance, Telecom Infra Project, Linux Foundation, Open Networking Foundation, and many more, are feeding valuable inputs into this process of truly global transformation, opening the network up to create richer end-to-end ecosystems. Companies like Nokia can provide everything you need, but they also work together with other suppliers to mix and match their solutions if users prefer. The uptake of private LTE, taking advantage of all these latest trends, is therefore accelerating, paving the way for more powerful solutions for enterprises and related users, with a natural seamless progression in time to 5G. Private wireless networks steadily replace legacy solutions as customers understand their power to transform their operations, saving time, money, and lives. No communications network can operate without access to sufficient spectrum. In the past, in the case of professional mobile radio, a few 12.5 or 25 kilohertz VHF, UHF channels were enough for local PTT, with perhaps 1 or 2 paired megahertz of UHF spectrum sufficient for nationwide public safety TETRA services. As time has passed, practically all the spectrum available for mobile broadband services in recognized frequency bands has been sold off to highest bidder MNOs by governments and national regulators in lucrative auctions, effectively locking out enterprises and other professional users wishing to deploy their own private solutions. Now, all that is changing due to technical, operational, and regulatory innovation. Specialized operators and large users can now access suitable spectrum to build private networks for enterprise customers operating within a confined geographical area such as airports, ports, factories, mines, etc. More and more spectrum in sub-1 gigahertz bands is also being freed up for wide area networks for public safety and utilities. A growing number of countries across Europe, France, Germany, UK and Netherlands immediately come to mind, and around the world, such as CBRS in the USA, but also multiple Middle East and Asia Pacific markets, understand the importance of sufficient, appropriate, dedicated spectrum for mission critical, business critical, emergency industry and enterprise applications. Sigma Wireless is working hard in Ireland and across Europe to identify and support private network spectrum efforts at national and EU level. More about this later. For most private network users, a combination of low band and or mid band should suffice for all immediate needs. Moving to 5G, a combination of low band for coverage, mid band for capacity, and high band millimeter wave for extreme capacity, high speeds and ultra low latency becomes available. So by now, the multiple benefits of selecting a private wireless network to enhance and eventually replace existing legacy solutions should be clear. Just to remind you, here are some of the key advantages. Proven technology, billions of users globally, over €1 trillion invested in LTE networks, with at least another $1 trillion to come for 5G and supporting technologies, with hundreds of companies and thousands of experts participating in 3GPP standards making. Network availability. Private networks can be designed to guarantee as close to 100% availability as possible. Greater control. Enterprises no longer depend on external mobile operators for mobile broadband for their critical services. Enhanced security. Private networks based on 3GPP technology are secure by design, with continuous enhancements for each new technology release, and the ability to keep all essential data on site. Full customization. Enterprises can adapt and tailor private networks for their own specific needs today and well into the future. No recurring fees. Just as with existing PMR Tetra networks, once the investment is made in the network, there are no excessive recurring fees to be paid to network operators. This event is a celebration of 30 years of continued service to the community by Sigma Wireless. This event also shows that Sigma Wireless are very much focused on the next 30 years. Clearly, Sigma has a strong presence in its home market of Ireland, but there's also a clear desire to take advantage of that knowledge and expertise to expand globally. Sigma currently provides valued and valuable service to military and humanitarian operations around the globe, providing critical communication solutions that must operate in the harshest, most inhospitable locations. Enterprise Ireland is a staunch supporter of Sigma Wireless, in fact making it possible for me to collaborate with Sigma to develop the next generation of critical communication solutions. Sigma is also one of the founding members of a new European association, UENA, which a small group of industry experts, including myself, are in the process of setting up to represent the interests of enterprises across Europe looking to take advantage of the latest communications technology by building their own private wireless network. So the time to start deploying private wireless networks is now. Nokia alone has over 260 references globally, as you've heard, with well over 1,000 networks deployed around the globe, and numbers rising exponentially. Spectrum's becoming available in more and more countries for more and more end users. Today's event is a taster of what's to come. Come join me, Sigma Wireless, global leader partner Nokia, on this next step on the critical communications journey.